Alright, what's up guys? We're back with another Path of Exile video here. Gonna take a look at the Affliction League and a League starter build that I've come up with, just based off some of the information we have. So the new League looks fantastic. Lots of new changes, some big meta changes that I'm really excited about. The League mechanic looks really cool, much more excited about it than I was on the last League. I wasn't, that fun, in my opinion. It was just like its own mini game, completely separate from the other game instead of being a part of the core game. So this new thing we have here with transfigured gems, that's a new metacrafting thing in the Eternal Labyrinth. I am looking at making a build off this Firestorm of Meteors. I've wanted a Meteor skill in Path of Exile to build around for a long time, and there's never really been anything that would quite fit the bill. So now we finally have something. So I'm looking at, just leveling up and using Firestorm, and then I'm assuming when I get this, the Eternal Lab done, I can convert that with the crafting mechanic into this Firestorm of Meteor. The big thing I want to point out with this that has me excited is look at that huge effectiveness of added damage at 370%. That's gotta be one of the highest in the game. I have not really seen anything that's quite that high in terms of a spell with a quick cast time like that. So that has me really excited to try and build around. And so I'm going to show you kind of what I've come up with that I think will be just a fun build to play. And I don't know how well it'll do in the end game, but being a League starter, the main point of the League starter build is to quickly clear the game, get into the early mapping, and then just do some farming and kind of push it as far as it can go. And then when it patters out or stops progressing as quickly as you want, you take that currency, all that stuff you farmed, and you funnel that into a new stronger build. And a lot of times you can, tweak the build and continue to progress through the end game. So, with so much being new, obviously I have no idea how strong this will be. This is just purely theory crafted. So, first off, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, I really appreciate it. It helps me out. I'm getting close to 1,000 subs. And with that out of the way, let's kind of take a look at what I have come up with here. So, here's all the attributes on the side if you want to just take a look at those. I'll scroll back through it, and if you want to pause you can, just to kind of take a look. Sorry, I don't use Path of Building. I don't really like downloading extra things onto my computer. I don't, to me, I don't really need it to make a build. I go more off just the feel and the theme, and that's just how I play the game. As far as like crunching numbers, sometimes things that look good on paper don't work in the game, or the way mechanics work in the game. The paper stuff can be deceiving, and that comes from my experience just playing so many games over the years. You really have to play test it to get a full understanding of how strong or weak something actually is, in my opinion. Looking at things on paper gives you somewhat of an idea, but sometimes it can be misleading, or it can just be flat out wrong. But anyways, so taking a look at this, I'm looking at creating this character as a Templar and as the Hierophant. So I'm looking at doing Conviction of Power, Arcane Blessing, Divine Guidance, and Sanctuary of Thought. And this, I'm looking at Conviction of Power, just it's going to be a lot of crit chance and damage and survivability. This is just going to be more damage and Arcane Surge. This is going to be more mana, which is, with Transfiguration of Mind, converts into more damage as well, and survivability. And same thing here, more mana reservation efficiency, more area of effect, less mana cost on skills, and extra energy shield from mana. So kind of the general idea of this build is I will be a self-casting Meteor, and we're going to try and take full effect of Transfiguration of Mind, the added damage effectiveness of the Meteor skill, and these nodes in the Ascendancy class. So let's take a look at those real quick. So this one will probably be the last thing I pick up, so it's more just because it's the best thing I can think of to spend the last 2 points on in here. But Conviction of Power, so with Conviction of Power, I'm looking at picking these nodes up here that have to do with the power charges. And so let's zoom in on that and let's take a quick look. So extra mana regen, that's great for me. Extra critical strike chance, that's great. Extra multiplier, that's fantastic. 1 to minimum power charges. 8% damage per power charge. So basically I will always have 5 power charges, and I can get additional from killing stuff, or potentially from getting a block. I think there's 20% chance to gain a power charge when you block. So I have basically 5 base power charges, and then all of these benefits from the power charges, plus this one here, 4% spell damage per power charge, and then +1 to maximum power charges. So that is what we were taking advantage of from this. And then next, let's look at this. So 30% increased mana, Transfiguration of Mind, 10% damage taken from mana before life. We're also going to take Mind over Matter, so we'll have 50% damage taken from mana before life with the Transfiguration of Mind. That gives you you can see there, increases in reductions to max mana also apply to damage at 30% of their value. So a 30% increase to max mana is a 10% increase to damage, basically. And so every other, int that's giving me, so I think these also count, but even if not, just all the percent increases to max mana, like this, 22, that's giving me 30% of that is giving me extra damage, etc. So all of the extra mana I'm picking up is giving me damage and survivability and more mana. So it's just, I'm getting a lot out of those nodes. And next we're going to take a look at Sanctuary of Thought. So that's going to give me just from all of that mana, I'm also gaining extra energy shield. And I'm getting the increased mana reservation, which is going to be big. I'll speak more on that in a second. And then increased area of effect per 50 unreserved mana. Hopefully, I'm not sure how much unreserved mana I'll have, but we'll find out eventually when I play this. But anyway, so I'm looking at. Let me just speak real quick on the Meteor skill. So when I get Meteor, I am going to use, just thinking on a 4-link, probably added Cold and added Lightning because of the huge damage effectiveness, and then Spell Echo is basically what I'm thinking is going to be the best on a 4-link for how I'm creating this build. And then I'm also going to use all of the Heralds, so Herald of Ash, the Ice and the Lightning Herald. This is going to give me 45% increased damage total for running 3 Heralds. And then, the Herald of Ash will give me burn on overkill, increased fire damage, and then the other 2 just are more flat added damage to the spell with the huge added effectiveness. Like, that's just going to be crazy. And then these here just to get added reservation efficiency. And then 8%, another 8% for each Aura and Herald. So that's going to be another probably 32% increased damage, depending on how many Auras I run on top of the Herald. And just a couple over here for some more increased reservation efficiency. I'm probably looking at running the Aura that gives you spell critical strike chance. Either that or Anger, or possibly a defensive Aura. It will just depend kind of what what this build needs as I get further into the game, and what weaknesses I need to shore up. So then on top of that, we are looking at taking a bunch of elemental damage nodes. So we're going to try and take full advantage of freeze, shock, and ignite chance and crits. So we're just going to freeze, shock, ignite everything, just blow everything up with these meteors. Massive AoE. I think it's going to be awesome. And so more elemental damage, because that's going to increase all three of those. We've got more over here, so that's, you know, going to be, I think, just really fun to freeze, shock, and ignite everything. There's not really many builds that get to just fully take advantage of all three. Usually you have to kind of pick one or two, and this, I think, is going to be phenomenal in terms of just blowing, just nuking everything from the sky. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then here we're looking at getting a lot of like block too, so spell block. I'm going to use a staff, getting spell damage. You know, just more mana damage, block, spell block. Picked up these for some staff. For wielding a staff, same thing down here. So staff, just that caster theme. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. And then coming down here, just getting some. I got this. You know, it's probably not that great, but it's 1 point. I think it comes out to maybe like 20%, 20 to 30% spell damage, depending on how much strength I end up having. And then down here, mana from recoup from damage. So there's kind of the build where it's at. More life and reduced cost of skills. So what I think this build will be really strong at is just blowing things up. Freezing, shocking, igniting everything. I think the damage is going to be very, very good. Not really dependent on gear, which is always good for a starter build. I don't know how the survivability will be. I don't have much elemental resist from the tree. I could pick this up for another 10% and on a 2-point investment, which isn't bad. I'll just have to get it from gear, which isn't, you know, the end of the world. And I don't know how much armor I'll have. I'll probably look at using a lot of armor and, you know, the hybrid strength in gear, armor and energy shield is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll just have to see. That's what I'm leaning towards, though, just to have some more survivability. And hopefully this will be, you know, a fun, strong league starting build. This is, I'll give more updates as I actually play through. I'm not sure what this little exclamation mark is down here. But yeah, so that is what the build is gonna look like, you know, as far as just league starting, theory crafting. I can pick these up here too for more mana and damage, which I, you know, probably would. And yeah, so thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're excited about this league, you know, let me know what you're thinking about playing or trying down in the comments. You know, I guess I could pick this up here too. Yeah, it would be really dumb not to pick these up. So almost at a max point build. So yeah, I don't know exactly how I will progress through this. I may be able to find like some more slightly efficient paths, but yeah, this is what I'm thinking. And let me know if you see anything that you think might be stronger, or how I could tweak this a little bit, because, you know, I just came up with this in maybe like 20 or 30 minutes after watching and looking into the new league. So hope you guys enjoy it. I'm probably not gonna play the hardcore league, just because I actually want to progress through the end game with the league mechanics this time. And so I'm going to be doing the Scrub Core League. That's my plan right now. Could always change. So I will end the video here, and I'll see you guys in game on the 8th. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and remember to give them the D.